Angela Kenneth, 33, is a successful farmer based in the city of Sanchu in western Cameroon. In less than 5 years, she has increased her cultivable areas of ginger from 1 to 30 hectares for a production of about 600 tons per year. What is now worth a turnover estimated at over 120 million CFA.
At first, I started making 10 ridges. From there, I went to 1 hectare. Today, I am already in 30 hectares of gingerbread, and by doing this, I have already built a house and have lands. I told myself it's thanks to them.
At 80 kilometers from Sanchu, where Angela is, we met Serge Arnaud Yemenu. At only 35 years old, this young breeder owns a large farm with 4,000 heads of poultry. In addition to meat in some cases, he sells thousands of eggs every day for a turnover of more than 15 million francs CFA. In 5 years, he plans to expand his farm to exceed 10,000 head of poultry. Whether Serge Arnaud or Angela, they are simply farmers who 10 years before had almost nothing. Even worse, with a miserable employee salary which did not exceed 60,000 francs CFA. Nothing predestined them to any success. Today, they are successful business leaders who provide decent living for dozens of families. At the root of their success is the MC2 model. In its report, Overcoming Poverty, published in 2000, the United Nations Development Programme defines general poverty as the condition of a person who does not have sufficient income to meet his basic non-food needs. A long-accepted definition at the international level on which many organizations and government bodies rely. Yet, alone against all, a young Cameroonian researcher thinks that this definition is wrong, or at least it is only partial. In addition to the purely material aspect, the researcher Paul Foucault believes that the definition of poverty should also take into account tangible aspects and intellectual aspects.
The true definition of poverty must take into account 3 fundamental aspects: intellectual, moral, and material. Yet this definition takes into account only the material aspect. So I propose to you this definition, which is, being poor is the one who is in a state of intellectual and moral limitations, which prevent him from all realizations.
In his doctoral thesis entitled The Financing Problem of Small and Medium-Sized Industry, the Case of Cameroon, supported in 1989 in Bordeaux, France, it becomes clear that the model is based on the imperative of saving, which will differentiate the rich of the poor. So is poor according to Dr. Paul Foucault. Whoever earns 100 francs spends 110 francs, and at the end of the exercise finds himself indebted 10 francs. On the other hand, the rich person earns 100 francs and spends 99 francs and saves 1 franc. At the time, Paul Foucault goes a step further and says that poverty, although it is a calamity, is not inevitable. In other words, he thinks it is possible to get out of poverty both individually and collectively. For that, if the communities decided to associate their resources around a given project, it could allow them to emerge quickly from poverty.
The essential pillar of the MC2 model are 3 in number. The first is the foundation. It means everyone is the master of his destiny. The second is that no one is too poor to be able to save. The third is that it is together that we win. That is to say, we must put the means and our skills together.
Thus, the MC2 model is built around the objective of making people aware that they are themselves owner of their destiny. It reveals to the local populations the immense managerial capacities that they draw from their cultural heritage. Also, it leads them to take charge sustainably. Clearly, it is about winning the victory on poverty (VP) by the factorization of means M and scale C of the community C. Hence, the formula VP equals to M star C equals to MC2. In its implementation, the model is designed to protect mutualists from any external shocks to which they would be exposed if they were in the traditional financial system.
It's not just a model of giving credit, rather the opposite. It starts with the collection of savings, and that's an essential element of the MC2 model. If ever there is a financial crisis, microbanks will never have the problem of refinancing because they have their own savings.
The model is rapidly being piloted in rural Cameroon with the blessing and strong support of President Paul Biya. In Santa, in the northwest region, the model arrives in 2005. In 2018, the maturity claims a total loans granted to over 132 million francs CFA. Unlike other MC2s, Santa has developed a specificity, the group loan mechanism.
Within the granting loan, we finance agriculture mainly and small and medium-sized enterprises. In farming, we have a scheme which is HIPC, that's a scheme we call Credit and Savings with Education. This Credit and Savings with Education, it is an idea by PAT. It was a fund from PAT to assist farmers who are not able to have individual accounts in MC2. So as of today, we have we have granted loans to farmers about 1,300 farmers through about 30 groups have received funds.
We can join MC2 because we see.
We figure that if we approach MC2 as a group, it will be easier for us to get a credit and work better, to have money, buy oil and help our families.
Buy oil, buy what we need them. We need it. We don't take loan like 6 times inside MC2.
After meeting the MC2, we obtained a loan that allows us to expand our cultivable areas to 1 hectare, which we cultivate once over 3 months.
We need to write the money them for see what to hold again.
The city of Sancho in the region of West Cameroon has also had its MC2 since 2009, following the demand of the farmers of the locality. At the time, the Mutual had barely 100 members.
At the opening of the MC2 of Sancho, we had 100 members. Today, we are already over 1,400 members. The MC2 of Sancho saw the support of the PAT, which came to reinforce the capital. We already have more than 1 billion credit to give to the population of Sancho, although we are only in our 6th year of operation.
In the rural Bafoussam, the MC2 was born in 1998. At the time, it weighed only 12 million francs CFA of settlement funds for 120 members. In 2018, 20 years later, the rural MC2 Bafoussam weighed nearly 260 million francs CFA of settlement funds and has already financed more than 3,500 projects for a total volume of more than 5 billion francs CFA. This Friday morning, the rural Bafoussam MC2 decided to bring together its mutualists, mostly farmers, to offer them improved corn seeds. In total, 3 tons of seeds to distribute to 1,500 farmers at the beginning of March, the sowing periods.
Oui, depuis 10 ans que la MC2 a introduit les semences améliorées.
Since 10 years that the MC2 introduced the improved seeds, we have no more difficulties to have the good seeds. And compared to the production, it has improved a lot. On a plot where I barely made 10 bags of maize, I now make 17 bags.
De la semence, on nous donne les conseils. Donc on améliore les techniques culturelles.
Also conscious of the fact that it mutually sometimes lack places of storage of their crops, the MC2 of Bafoussam took the initiative to put at their disposal a store. Now, and thanks to the MC2, they have the opportunity to store their crops and wait for shortages to sell at much higher prices.
Il se trouve que à la récolte,
it turns out that at harvest, the beans are much cheaper on the market. So to secure their crops, they have to keep it in a storage house. And this allows those in need of money to be able to get it. Trading their guaranteed stock, they sell at the time when it's more expensive. For example, in the month of April, May, and June. And when they sell their products, they turn over the money in their accounts and we withdraw our debt.
Another storage initiative is from the city of Banja, in the store located a few meters from the city center. We can see thousands of coffee bags loaded by peasants who come back from the countryside, a crop that actually belongs to hundreds of farmers gathered in the Skakaba, a cooperative that defends the interests of local producers.
Les planteurs viennent déposer le café.
The farmers come to deposit on the bags of coffee and we give them the advance on the deposit. So having decided the price of coffee in the market, that is when you can drop your bag of coffee. If the coffee in the market is 20 or 25,000 francs, we will give you the advance deposit of 25,000 francs. And after when we have grouped the coffee, we remove the difference and give back to the farmers.
The Banja MC2 has made Sakaba its partner. This allows her to have as an interlocutor a group of organized and structured peasants. In total, more than 1,200 members divided in 10 basic units, which in terms of risk of recoveries makes the loans granted from farmers almost safe and facilitates the financing of the cooperative.
Dans le fonctionnement, l'apport de la MC2, ça se ressent.
In this operation, the contribution of MC2 is felt in the form of short-term credit. These are credits that in studies do not require much attention and can be called home credit. Each year, there is an average of 25 million operating credit and 12 million of bulk purchasing of input.
Une moyenne de 25 millions de crédits pour le fonctionnement, 12 millions pour l'achat groupé des intrants. L'engouement au fil des jours.
The anxiety grows as days go by. Everyone understands that you have to join the cooperative. When they go to private factories, they simply copy what the cooperative is doing. But basically, there is a difference because in the cooperative, it is the member who sells the product himself when collected, and we treat them. We make hand offers to all the farmers who are there, and the one who assists should put in mind that he or she will receive the quantity of product with respect to the price we are going to decide.
In the commune of Eseka in central Cameroon, the MC2 model has developed into an experimental approach, the Acropole project.
Les petits producteurs doivent produire. Ils n'ont pas de garantie.
Small producers must produce because they have no guarantee, and they need finance to produce. To be given money, the market should be stable. That is what the agro-pole, agro-processing zone, brings. It means you produce when the prices are already known. These financial institutions lend money to small producers who deliver their product to our company.
La société agro-industrielle le paye par son institution financière et on déduit dans le crédit et le reste est mis dans son compte. Ça, c'est de manière classique. Mais ce qui est d'intéressant là-dedans, c'est que le petit producteur reçoit l'assistance technique de la société de la plantation agro-industrielle.
An experience that positively impacted the life of the Iseka mutualists. Farmers who used to work long hours for a salary that did not fully support them were overwhelmed owners of plantations. 2,600 of palm groves bought by 100 peasants, never seen in this locality.
Pour certains, moi qui vous parle présentement, ce projet a apporté beaucoup.
I who speak to you now was at first unemployed. This project brought a lot of handwork and it has given work to many of us. Now I am responsible for all these farms and it also allowed me to carry out other activities because here we have subcontractors. For example, people who come from elsewhere to transport our products from the field.
In its implementation, the MC2 model focuses mainly on the social approach and it is not defined to financial requirements only. Unlike the traditional financial sector, the model offers real opportunities in terms of support, mentoring and structuring of projects for mutualists.
Et à côté des services financiers, il y a des services non financiers, la formation, l'accompagnement.
We offer other services like training, the support in the management of their exploitation. And this is not the case with a traditional bank. So these are those things that really make the difference. What is interesting about the MC2 model is the connection with Afriland First Bank. When MC2 has limits, the bank completes it in terms of financial services, deposits, and thus you can have transactions with the rest of the world through Afriland First Bank.
Vous pouvez avoir des transactions financières avec le reste du monde à travers Afriland First Bank.
These are financial and even social initiatives that radically transform the lives of millions of people and to lift entire families out of poverty. For these families, the implementation of the model in their localities in a way the small glimmer of hope that will have allowed them a hang-on to realize and assert themselves.
The MC2 really made me dream. With the MC2, we are really ambitious.
Thanks to the MC2 model, for the first time, we were able to pay for our children's schooling on time and we managed to meet our deadlines on time. Thanks to the MC2, for the means we were able to obtain. They gave us the opportunity to buy the plant health, to treat our plant diseases and secure our production, which was not the case before, where our plants died just sprouting.
MC2 have made me to be what I am for now, because with the MC2 I'm able to send my children to school, be able to live well and to feed my fowls in a good condition. At that time I have just about 2,500 layers, but for now I have about 7,000 layers.
Over time, the MC2 model has taken on specificities related to different African realities. It now takes into account gender and gives the opportunity to women often marginalized by the conventional financial system, yet courageous women and determined to get together and develop.
Nous avons d'abord fait un constat ici en Guinée.
First of all, we found here in Guinea that women were dynamic and needed support. They needed to be organized. They lack this tool of partnership, and this focal point can accompany them.
Qui puisse les accompagner.
Unlike traditional MC2, Financial Mutuals of African Women, MUFFA, as their name suggests, are mainly oriented towards women. Like MC2s, the MUFA are born out of a desire to provide poor or informal women in Africa with financial instruments to meet their individual and family needs.
I knew Mufa through a friend, and since she was chair of Mufa's board of directors at Mantam, she invited me one day and I came to listen to how it works. The same day, I opened my account at Mufa as a mutualist. When I needed to apply for a credit, I made a request and Mufa accompanied me. What you see is thanks to Mufa. I took a 3-month credit, which I then refunded. But before Mufa came, I did not have the opportunity. Before Mufa, I was used to small business. I had to struggle in order to cope.
Testimonies such as these are multiplied and gradually spread in Guinea. Since the arrival of the MC2 model in 2015 with the blessing of the President Alpha Condé, who was personally in its popularization in the country.
We look for ways to help women and young people by ensuring that microcredit actually reaches the poorest people. It was not easy. We have listened to Mr. Paul Fokam as he gave his experience in Cameroon. So we will try this experience and we hope and wish that it is a success and that it must combine both individual and collective will.
Seeing the lives of their loved ones drastically changing, women have become more and more seduced by the model and more of them are joining.
Les femmes viennent.
Since 8 a.m. this morning till now, there are still seated. There are there. That largely explains the attachment, the addition of women to this project. The Ratuma population welcome Mufa Ratuma with enthusiasm because for a week now, every day we have 100 members. So it is to tell you that women are enthusiastic.
An enthusiasm which sometimes can be slowed by small failures, certainly predictable shortcomings, but still, in some cases, tend the radiation of the MC2 model.
Of course, there are difficulties when talking about finances. You know, finance is the price of all.
Faithful to its method and even in case of dispute, the MC2 models favor social approaches. And to avoid cases of disputes as much as possible, the MC2 creates new services every day so that they can help the most neatly while reducing risks.
When we say unpaid, it means that you track down the offenders. And it is in the process that it is very difficult with justice. If you spend $1 million, you could spend $2 million to make the recovery because the process is long. And in MC2, we have also innovated by setting up what is called the Council of Wise, where you have the priest, the village chiefs, the pastors who sit on this council, respective people in such a way to avoid going to court for any problem. And it saves us from wasting too much time and money in court.
Today, proud of its beautiful achievements in its natal Cameroonian territory, the MC2 model seduces and exports. The model has been accepted and implemented in Sao Tome and Principe.
É microbanco que para reduzir o risco.
A microbank must have a good conduct in order to reassure its clients, and this is exactly what the MC2 is offering to us today. A microbank which can give us confidence and which can accompany farmers.
Então, o microbanco terá confiança em acompanhar o agricultor.
We are a big production zone. We can do great realizations and not limit ourselves on symbolism. It is high time for me to congratulate our partners, Afriland First Bank, for the help and collaboration towards us.
This is also in the case of Liberia, where the MC2 model is taking its first steps. In a few months of implementation, the MC2 has already allowed peasants considered as without resources to be able to associate, to be realized, and especially to have the joy of knowing a feeling of success, a feeling of achievement.
The impression has been very good. They are happy. You know, everybody likes to feel that they own something. The community members who are shareholders, especially founding members, feel very happy to be able to bring business to their community. Then even to be in the position where their business can lend money to people for them to increase their own business. Okay. So they are very happy. But you know, whenever you introduce anything new in the community, you have to do a lot of education with it. Before we had this full-fledged banking facility, people are used to having financial clubs, and at the end of a given period, be it 1 year or so, they divide what it is they have gotten. But with the banking system, we have to let them know that this is your investment. You have to let the bank grow. And so they are happy that they are owners of banking institutions that provides for the community.
In Guinea too, the MC2 model consolidates its positions. After having begun a progressive extension, it is now necessary to cover 100% of the villages all over the country.
10 years from now, when I look, I imagine every village in Guinea having its mofa, and I see a whole group of prosperous people because they were able to organize themselves. They could take care of themselves. They are today self-reliant, and they have succeeded in creating schools, hospitals, health centers, water bodies, and have really improved their living conditions.
We are now talking about the internationalization of a model that would together help overcome poverty on the African continent.
Why this internationalization? No, it comes from my own vision. I started from there and invested myself in the model for a simple reason, because I'm myself from a poor family, and I saw that there was a possibility to stop poverty, or at least to reduce it to its imperception. For this reason, we must succeed in restoring dignity, because poverty, as I told you, is made up of several aspects. We must succeed in restoring the dignity of every African, every Cameroonian. I would take then that I define myself as an African. I have to cover all Africans. It is my dream. This dream I cherish, and I hope that many actors of the economic world, of the political world, of the social world will join your battle to restore this dignity to Africans and Africa.
A dream that today is gradually being realized with Cameroon, Guinea, Liberia, Sao Tome and Principe, and soon in Ivory Coast, the MC2 model expands every day a little more across the continent. An exploitation that benefits millions of Africans who can today, and thanks to MC2, definitely say goodbye poverty.